Now, this week marks the start of the school year. However, there are reports that thousands of pupils have not yet been placed in Gauteng schools. So what is the Education Department doing about this? I'm joined in studio by MEC for Education in Gauteng, Mr. Lesufi. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure a lot of parents and guardians breathing a sigh of relief that kids are finally going back to school this week and next week.
I know, it has been long.
So tell us about the state of readiness as schools open.
Well, we're quite excited that as a province we received almost 1.3 million applications for people to be placed, in particular grade 1 and grade 8. And we're grateful that this is a vote of confidence in public education. But the other side of the story is that we've got almost 45,000 parents that are waiting at home because their children have not been placed. The schools officially reopened today administratively. And we are hopeful that we'll be in a position then to clear a substantial number of those placements. But there are three categories. There are those that applied on time. Those, they must not worry, their children will be placed. Those who applied late last year, will place your child, but you're not going to place them at the school of your choice. So we might place you at another school that is not their choice. But those that are coming for the first time this year, looking for placement, I need to be honest and be fair with them that we are looking around end Feb, early March for placement, because we have to clear this backlog first before we can attend to them. So your advice to parents right now who are panicking, as you mentioned, the large number of pupils who are still not placed? Especially the grade 1 and grade 8, I'll advise them to go to our district offices. Our district offices are open. They'll be in a position to clear the backlog. What worries us is those that are coming for the first time in our province requesting placement, when we've done that process at the beginning of April last year. So remember, when you come today, it means you must go and look for a new teacher as a department, you must look for a new desk, a new textbook, and it affects many things. So that is why we say, let's clear the backlog first. Immediately after the backlog, we'll be in a position to assist those that are still on our waiting list. Would you advise parents to go through the online portal? Yes, it's very important. It's very important that they go on the online portal, because at least we can capture the data and we can understand the area where we need to intervene urgently. And no qualms on the system. It's working perfectly. It's working. It's functioning very well. Yeah, it's working. Let's touch on the issue of the Competition Commission probing school uniform monopoly, where prices for school uniforms are quite high and unreasonable. Is there anything that the Education Department can do to intervene or help in this regard? Well, we've given the Competition Commission our support because it's very, very important. You know, education by its own definition must not be for the privileged few, because it's not only about school uniform, it's school trips. And we are told that the learner must not wear uniform and pay a certain amount. So there are lots of payments within the schooling environment that affect the running of school. So we believe that the Competition Commission must probe this matter, and they must give us a report. And as the department will deal with this report as quickly as possible, because if they can't intervene, education is going to be very expensive. And if it becomes expensive, it means it can only be accessed by fewer people. And if it's accessed by fewer people, it creates skills problem for our country. What's being done to improve the quality of education in the province, as well as supporting learners this year? To be quite frank, we're excited about our matric results now. You know, for the first time, we are getting it right in the townships where it matters, because the numbers are high there, and that's where we've been having historic problems, where people were migrating from townships to better schools. For the first time, to have almost 11% of the schools that achieved 100% matric pass coming from the township is indeed pleasing. And to have ordinary schools in poverty areas. I mean, there is a school called Raymond Mhlaba in Tsepiso in the West End. It's in the middle of an informal settlement. They scored 100%. But to have a child that comes from Tsakane in the East End to score 100% pass in maths, 100% pass in physics, 100% pass in life sciences, it's indeed encouraging. It means that we've broke the backbone of that stubborn a problem that we had for years in the township. So majority of our township schools now are performing above 80%, which is encouraging if you have to take into consideration where we come from 5 years ago. So quality of education is indeed taking shape in Gauteng. Your message to learners to take that forward, to make that a norm where students are producing great results. What does the department have to say to learners of 2017? My view, dude, is that they stand a better chance to queue for a graduation ceremony than to queue for a social grant. The opportunity comes once. Education is the only thing that can allow them to make their own choices and have a monthly grant out of their salaries rather than queue for the grant, that cannot be determined. So education, education, education. And it starts with one thing only: respect your parents, respect your teachers. You'll be in a position to be a successful learner.
Cannot emphasize that enough. Thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. That was Gauteng MEC for Education, Lesufi, talking to us on the state of readiness from the Department for the schooling year.